manta rays. All right, let's talk about our newest section today, about solving multi-step equations when we have to combine like terms. So we are going to be building on what we did yesterday with undoing addition and subtraction first, then either multiplying or dividing to either side so that you can get that variable by itself. We're still doing that, except now we're going to take it one step further and we will have more than 2 steps to do. This is more like a 3-step equation. So the step that we're adding in today is called combining like terms. And I know that you've learned about like terms in the past, but let's do a quick refresh. So combining like terms is when we put, what in the world is wrong with my T? It's when you put together constants with constants, variables with variables, and you do not put them together. Okay, so combining like terms is when you have putting terms or constants together. You are simplifying. Okay, so we will be simplifying the expressions. So when we combine like terms, we are simplifying with constants and terms that are the same, the variables. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about an example here. So let's say that I have example A. And in this example, I have 6w plus 2 plus a 4w plus 3. So in this equation, or in this expression, I would go through and I would find the things that are the same. So I have a w on this one and a w on this one. So I would put together the 6w and the 4w. And I forgot to circle that plus sign. That goes with that. So I would do 6w plus a 4w. Another thing that I have in common here are the constants. So that was a variable, but I do have constants here. I have a plus 2 and a plus 3. Those are my constants. So I have a plus 2 and a plus 3. So I can put together the things that are in orange because those things are the same. So 6w and 4w gives me 10 w's. Over here I have 2 and 3. That gives me 5 plus 5. These two things should not go together because we do not know the value of w. Because this has a w attached, it's not the same as this number that doesn't have a w attached to it. Okay? All right, so that is combining like terms. Now, if I happen to have, I don't know, let's say that I put on the end of this problem here, 2x. Well, I don't have an x, so I would just circle that x and I would put plus 2x in the front. So the 2x would be completely by itself because an x is not like a w. So that's just like a bonus there. All right, now let's talk about how does this apply to 1-step and 2-step equations that we've been solving. So let's go ahead and do with our problems here. So let's go to example B. And example B says 8x minus 6x minus 25 equals negative 35. So I have the equal sign here. Up here, I did not have an equal sign. Here, I have an equal sign. So my first job now is to look at both sides, because we know an equal sign means that this side is the same as this side. But if we look at it, they're not the same right now. This one has x's, this one does not. Our job is to figure out what x is so that the equal sign really is an equal sign. So our first step that we're going to look at is 1, we need to combine like terms. So we're going to combine like terms. So just like we did up here, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to circle the things that are the same. So I have an 8x and a negative 6x. And then I also have a negative 25. So on this side of the equation, I'm going to circle those things, and I am only going to worry about this side of the equation for now. So let's go ahead and put together the things that are the same. So the 8x and the negative 6x, those two things right there give me 2x. When I put those together, 8x minus 6x, I get a 2x. This negative 25 now is a minus 25 equals negative 35. So I have now a problem that is only 2 steps. I went from 3 numbers up above to only 2 numbers here. So now I can go back to my notes from yesterday, start on the side with the variable, and do the opposite of either addition or subtraction. So now I'm going to take exactly what I did yesterday, and I am going to do step 2. I'm going to add or subtract. My job again is to get that variable all by itself. So I start with minus 25. The opposite, I need to add 25. And then add 25. I have to keep it balanced. If I only add 25 to one side, the other side's going to end up like this. And we don't want that. We need it to go back to being balanced. It's like a teeter-totter. You have the same on each side, and you don't want it to tip. So let's talk about this. This is going to go away. And now we have here, I had negative $35 in the bank. I deposit 25. I only have negative 10 left. All right. So now that I have negative 10 left, I do still need to bring down my 2x. So I'm going to bring down this 2x, and it's equal to negative 10. All right, our next step now is to do step 3, which is, again, the opposite of what's here. So the opposite of multiplication is going to be division. So we're looking for one or the other, just like we did yesterday. So if I divide by 2 and divide by 2, keep it balanced on both sides. I now have 1x, and 1x is equal to, I have negative 10 into 2 equal groups, and this equals negative 5. So my solution that I have found is x equals negative 5. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take x equals negative 5, put it back into our original equation to see if it equals negative 35. So I'm going to come back here and put it right there because I've already simplified it. I don't want to have to simplify again. So let's take and put negative 5. So it should be 2 times negative 5 minus 25 equals negative 35. Sorry that I'm writing into there. Okay, so this is negative 10 minus 25. And if I have negative 10 and I remove 25 more things, I'm going to have negative 35 things, which is negative 35. And so it totally checks out. So my solution to this equation is negative 5. Slow and steady. Keep going through your steps. Step 4, check it. If you do not do step 4, you might get the problem wrong, because if we had done it wrong, we would know as soon as we put it in here to be able to identify our mistake right away. Okay, I'm going to turn my page, so if you need to pause it, go ahead and pause the video so you can finish writing out your notes. But I'm going to turn my page now, and I'm going to do the next example. Okay, wow, look at all that writing. I write really hard. Okay, so our next example, example 2. Example 2, it says, or I guess 3, example 3, can't count today. Okay, it says negative 2m plus 4m's plus 5 equals negative 3. All right, and they want to know, what in the world is m? Well, the world may never know. Just kidding. We're going to tell the world right now, what does m equal? All right, so first, let's combine like terms. So step 1, combine those things that are the same. I have a negative 2m. I have a positive 4m. This is not an m, so I don't need to combine it. And this negative 3 is on the other side of the equal sign, so I don't need to combine that with anything. Okay, so put that block up so you don't go over there. All right, so I have negative 2 and I add a positive 4. So I have negative 2 in the bank. I add a positive 4. So that means that I have 2 m's in the bank plus that 5. And it equals negative 3. So now we're going to just keep solving. So I've went from everything being crazy to a more simplified version of the problem. So again, I'm going to start with, I have plus 5. Instead, I'm going to subtract 5. Subtract 5. From both sides, this 5 goes away. This one does not, but our 2m drops. 2m equals negative 3 minus 5. So I have negative 3. I remove 5 more, which means that I have negative 8. All right, now we're ready for 2-step, the second step. So here's step 1. Add or subtract. We subtracted. Here is step 2. We're going to divide. All right, so we divide by 2. We divide by 2. M equals, because this gives us 1m, negative 8 divided by 2, which is negative 4. And now we can take that negative 4 and we can put it right back into this equation up above. So now I'm going to take my solution right here and I'm going to put it in for this m. So now my problem says 2 times negative 4 plus 5 equals negative 3. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8 plus 5. Oh my gosh, you guys, we did it right. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3, and negative 3 is equal to negative 3. It checks out. Woohoo! We did it! Okay, now it is time for you to do a try it. So let's try it, okay? All right, let's try the try-its. Ooh, which try it do we want to do? All right, let's try this try it. So it is try it. All right. It says, this is actually try it number 4 because it's still part of the same lesson from yesterday. So they call it try it number 4. It says negative 4n minus 8n equals, plus 17 equals 23. And then try it number 5 says 10 equals 3n plus 20 minus n. Okay, so go ahead and do your try-its. Hit pause so you don't hear me solving. And then I am going to go ahead and solve these. So hit play when you are ready to hear the answers. All right, let's use a different color. So our first step here, we are going to look at solving by combining first. So I need to combine all of the n's on this side together. I have negative 4 n's, and then I remove 8 more n's. It means that I have negative 12 n's plus 17 equals 23. Whew. Okay, now step 1 up above, add or subtract. So I need to add or subtract. Right now it's adding. I am going to be subtracting 17. That becomes 0. I'm subtracting 17. Negative 12n equals, all right, that's 13, and that's a 1. So 7 and 6 is 13. Okay. Whew. This problem is a crazy one. Okay, so now we are going to look at how is this going to work, because this is going to be a weird fraction. Okay, so now we're going to divide by negative 12 and divide by negative 12. So n equals 6 divided by 12. Well, that's a half right there, and there is a negative sign. So that's negative 1 over 2. That was a very weird one, and I'm sorry for it being weird. Okay, how did you do on that one? And now let's check on this one here. So my solution is n equals a half. Whew. Okay, on this problem, I'm going to use a different color since they're so close to each other. I have to first combine like terms. I have a 3n and a negative n. Okay, 3 minus 1n. Remember, when there's no number in front, it's just a 1. You just don't write a 1 twice. So I have 3 minus 1n, which gives me 2 n's plus 20. And that equals 10. All right, step 1 up above says to either add or subtract. So I'm going to subtract 20 and subtract 20. This goes away. I now only have 2n left over. 10 minus 20. So I had 10, but I spent 20, which means I have negative 10. This divides by 2 and gives me 1n. This over here divides by 2 and gives me negative 5. So my solution is negative 5. All right, manta rays, how did you do on this lesson? Go ahead and check your understanding. Mark anywhere that you need to ask for help or ask clarifying questions. And then somewhere on your paper, wherever you might have a blank spot, go ahead and answer your essential question. How do you solve multi-step equations with like terms? And give yourself a rating. Where are you at with your level of understanding? All right, head on over now to the Google Meet and ask for help if you need it, or you may start working on your practice work. Thank you for all of your effort and hard work today. I sure appreciate you, and make it a great day the manta ray way.